said they are not common.
Okay, hello. Welcome. Wow, I swear it's been a long weekend of wrestling, like a very long weekend, I should say. Yeah, it's been a long weekend, I should say, for wrestling. A very long weekend, just from I don't know the G1, from other shows throughout the weekend. I feel like yeah, because what was really throughout the past couple days, though, I should say. Well, I would say the G1 Climax, of course, day one. I did check out that UFC last night. Whew, that Nunes is a fucking killer, I tell you. Pretty much beat everybody in the division. And now we are here today with the Slammiversary review. One thing I do want to say, this is kind of a little bit random because I kind of forgot this was today. I just put on an NWO shirt today just to put it on, just for whatever. I forgot today is the 23rd anniversary. The NWO was formed on was it today, July 7th of 1996. Hopefully I have that date right, but I believe that is today. So I gotta say, man, NWO, man, you in for life, or Wolfpack, whatever you want to go with. But I just kind of wore it randomly, but I just kind of forgot today was that day. But Slammiversary tonight, Dallas, Texas. A lot of shows in Texas this weekend. What was it, at Gillies, I believe it was called. Looking at this building they were in, it looked like a good crowd out there. I will say the mic was pretty much, the crowd was mic'd well. But, one thing I thought was kind of odd, when they have that video package, and I forget the guy that's kind of done those intros through over TNA throughout the years. In the beginning, I know they brought it back up. They usually bring it back for the bigger pay-per-views, but I think the last time they used this guy was, I think last year, maybe Slammiversary 2015. I think they brought him back at 16, but they brought him back several times, though, and some say he sounds like James Earl Jones and stuff, but he did the intro video. And one thing, when they're playing the video and they get to the end, you can hear some guy telling the crowd to, cheer and pump them up and stuff, like one of the stagehands or production. You can just hear him say, like, all right, cheer, 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 cheer. So they kind of tell him to do that after the video package. But Josh Matthews and Don Callis on commentary. We started off with a fatal 4-way, which was a last-minute match. What they said was an open challenge by TJP, but since it was a fatal 4-way, it was between him, Trey Miguel, Jake Christ, and the Willie Mack. This was a fun spot fest. X Division kicking off the show. X Division always kicks off a lot of these shows just to get the crowd pumped up and everything. But this was good. There was some crazy spots in here, I will say that. From Mac doing standing moonsaults, Miguel just doing this crazy spot where he did like some Matrix move, dodging Jake Chris clothesline and kind of swinging on the ropes to get him down to the ground. Miguel doing a crazy springboard dive on all three of the guys to the ground. Perkins hit like a surfboard on Miguel, but I think Jake Chris came back and took him out and tried to cover TJP. Mac did like a double stomp onto Miguel to break it up. That was pretty cool also. When we kind of close to the end, Jay Chris did he did like a top rope cut on Miguel, and then Mac did like a frog splash onto Jake Chris for the win. So I didn't really think who was gonna win this match. I would have said TJP just because he made this open challenge, but I was just kind of saying the Mac just for a guess of it and everything. But yeah, Mac win the match right here. So good way to kick off the show. Good opener. I will say that. Crazy spots, and Mac winning was pretty good. Now, next was the tag team match. Now, I didn't do a review for Impact. Like I said, I've had dental surgery, and somehow I was still able to do the G1 yesterday, but I knew I was not going to get to the Impact because my mouth was very numb, and I am still taking a lot of pills during this for every 6 hours, so I have to get ready to do that soon again. But I have the ability to talk. But what happened is this with this whole tag team title situation. I'm watching a show on Friday, right? And I didn't watch it on the Twitch stream which I probably should have. My friend was, and he gave this news to me that LAX lost the tag team titles. And I'm like, what do you mean they lost the titles? Because first he said they lost the titles. I said, who lost the titles? LAX lost the titles. How the fuck did they lose the titles? And I had to remember, this is what caught me off guard when this happened. Yeah, but, you know, I don't know, just them losing the titles, a lot of this just didn't make sense to me what was about to come on. Because Impact, you know, they do those Impact Plus shows, and I believe it was that Bash of the Brewery thing. And that was live. And I know Impact is taped and everything, so this is what kind of got strange to me here. Because if you went and watched the Twitch one, when they went to Melissa Santos during one of the commercials, she said that the North won the championships from LAX. And I'm like, what? Because I didn't know what was going on. I'm just watching Impact regular. I'm thinking it's going to be, you know, LAX versus the Rascals this Sunday. Because I know the Rascals had to do that triple threat match on the show on Friday, the regular one, to see who was going to be in the tag team match. But, yeah, when I hear the North wins the tag team titles, I'm like, whoa, what is this? Because, I guess they're trying to make these Impact Plus shows matter in a way, which I said before, it's canon. So, I guess this counts. But I find very random and very odd that you do this 2 days for like one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year, but you drop the titles at the last second. And yeah, it was going to become a triple threat match later on, because trust me, as soon as that, you know, happened, people were already saying, oh, is LAX going to AEW or is LAX going to NXT? I don't know what their contracts are at Impact, or, you know, how long they're there for. Don't get me wrong, Impact has been very good to LAX. Don't get me wrong about that. Like I said, I don't know their contracts. I don't know what's going on, if they're still here, if they're still not here. I don't know. But the fact that they just lost the titles the other night, and then just, you know, randomly now, it's just really strange. Just a lot did not make sense to me. So this is now going to... And then, you know, it was announced yesterday that it was going to be a triple threat tag team title match between LAX, the North, and the Rascals. I don't know why they did this. I don't know why you just didn't stick with LAX versus the Rascals. I think that would have been a way funner match, in my opinion. I'm not saying the North are bad, but a lot of this just seems, you know, it's just odd. I don't know. Like I said, not a bad team or nothing, but this just is just, you know, this is random. This is odd. I don't even know why they really did this, but, you know, it was still going to be a triple threat tag match at the end of the day. I know they interviewed the North, you know, talk about what happened and everything, and, you know, talk about surprises, as they said. That page said it wasn't a surprise or anything. They told them they were the best tag team champions in the world, and now that they have proved it, so they should not be surprised. So they do the triple threat tag match with the North versus LAX. Conan was out there too, and the Rascals. This was not a bad match or anything. I was surprised it was so short. I was surprised they didn't have this match later on in the show, but they had the tag match on early, because usually when LAX is out there, you know they're going to put on a great match. That's why they probably give them until near the end. Come on, they main event at the last pay-per-view at Rebellion. But, yeah. Pretty much, this match wasn't that bad, but it ended up with Santana getting hurt at one point, because he started holding one of his legs, I believe. I don't know if the injury was legit or not, but they had doctors come out and check on him. Pretty much then Ortiz, I guess he had to fight for himself then after that. And one thing I did kind of like near the end was one of these cool spots, because I think the Rascals did a moonsault, and what was it? Ethan Page, he had like this power bomb on I think on one of the Rascals for the win. Like, no, he went not for the win, but he hit the power bomb on one of the other Rascals after he did the moonsault, which looked pretty brutal. And then they pretty much did their finisher on Ortiz, I believe. I forget their finisher is called, but they did their finisher on him, and they ended up retaining the titles. Next thing you know, the Rascals and, you know, Ortiz are all checking on Santana then after that. Like, the match wasn't bad. It was pretty good, and I thought it was getting better at one point. But I don't know, because it was Santana's injury that they ended this match early, or maybe that was the plan. I don't know if this is a work or this is a shoot injury, because Conan was yelling, get some help, get some help. So, I'm not sure where this is going. I don't know where this story's going now, because I feel like it's now all over the place. Because, okay, the North win the titles on that Brewery show, which on Friday. They still retain the titles tonight. One of LAX is hurt right now. The Rascals, I guess, are somewhat still in this thing too. So I don't know where this is going, but the North still they still retain the championships. I just think this whole thing is just kind of strange, just kind of given that there was a title change 2 days before this pay-per-view, and it just kind of was very unexpected for this match to even happen. So something about that is just very, very odd to me. I didn't hate this triple threat tag match, but it's just strange how it still happened and everything. But pretty much right after that, they went to Sami Callihan. I'm gonna have to say a lot about this tonight, because I didn't expect what was going on with the main event. After he said that tonight, the first time ever an intergender match will headline this pay-per-view in the U.S., I have a lot to say about that near the end, okay? And I spoke to someone about this, but I'm not even sure about this whole match either. But I'm gonna get onto that later. But next was Killer Kross versus Eddie Edwards in a First Blood match. Killer Kross's gear looked freaking cool, I will say that. He came out pretty much like with this white face paint. He had like an X on his head, and it was like face paint all over his face, like some black paint and stuff, and it looked cool. Eddie Edwards came out with his kendo stick, of course. This was a brutal match, I will say that. You could bloody from anyone, anywhere to win the match. One thing I did like was when Kross had pretty much picked up backwards and slammed him on the back onto the apron, which was pretty crazy. Fans said, holy shit. Then after that, Eddie Edwards was able to get back up into a suplex on Kross, who pretty much no-sold the whole thing and just stood right up like it was nothing. But Edwards knocked Kross the ringside. He did a suicide dive, but Kross threw a chair in the middle of his head, which looked pretty brutal. Kross then pretty much hit a gut-wrench suplex onto the chairs, and that was also brutal. He pretty much started dominating the match. He picked up the chairs and swung at Eddie Edwards, but Eddie kept dodging it. He threw a chair at Kross in after that. He kept pointing out, Kross with his hands up so, the chair wouldn't hit his head so he wouldn't bleed. And then Edwards had hit a Blue Thunder Bomb at one point in the match, and pretty much started punching Killer Kross in. Kross pretty much was, started kicking Eddie Edwards in the face then after that. Threw him in the corner, trying to corner and everything. Eddie Edwards tried to find his kendo stick, Kenny as whatever. But Kross pretty much put Edwards on the top rope. Pretty much over in the ring. What did he do? He tried to get behind him and throw him off somewhere, but Eddie Edwards got out of it. And I think he kicked Kross on top rope and pretty much he got crotched on pretty much landed on the ropes. Then Eddie Edwards pretty much knocked Kross off the ropes. Then when they Boston knee party, he finally found a kendo stick and he tried to kill the Kross with it. Kross kept ducking it here and there. He tried to hit the cross jacket on the out. Well, they fell to the outside so he could try to hit that cross jacket, but he only held it for a second. Eddie dodged it with a Tiger Driver. It looks pretty brutal. He didn't hit another Boston knee party, and then he was gonna hit Kross with the kendo stick as he was on his knees, but he broke the kendo stick in half and used the sharp part of it to pretty much jab it into Kross's face then, which he bled as he had blood coming from his mouth and everything, almost like from his promo. I thought it was a really good promo he cut last Friday. Also, that was pretty great. But Eddie Edwards wins. Kross had blood coming out of his mouth after that. Now, I will say the feud was only really good. I guess his feud is over. This feud is only really good because of Killer Kross, I felt like, in general. Just because he made this sound cool. Now, there's a lot of question into Killer Kross's contract or what's going to happen now with him after this. Because, Eddie Edwards getting the win. I don't know where this goes much for him after this, because I don't know who can really turn Eddie Edwards back to normal. I don't even know how long this whole crazy Eddie thing is gonna keep going. But this match, I will say it was a good match. Pretty brutal. Some hard spots out there. I liked it, of course, because I liked the match, of course, because I thought it was pretty good. But Eddie Edwards, I don't know where he goes from this, or where he goes with Crazy Eddie, or something. I don't know. I thought Kross probably looked the coolest thing out of this whole entire match, and I don't know if he's still going to be an Impact after this. I don't know where he's going after this, to be honest, because we've already heard about, what Impact told him to go get another job. So I don't know if this was his last thing to job to Eddie Edwards, as some say. I'm not sure where he's gonna go. He's gonna be here at the next set of tapings. I don't know. Okay, like, the guy would be great in any company. Okay, I don't know about WWE because they would probably end up killing him. NXT is one thing, but still, WWE would end up killing him. I don't know if he would go to AEW. We know Scarlett Bordeaux has left the company anyways. That is his girlfriend, and stuff. But I don't know if Killer Cross will still be around in Impact after this. I hope he does. I like the guy. I think the guy's great. Like I've said before, Shakespeare Destruction. The dude was fantastic, even doing that sermon he did Eddie Edwards last Friday on Impact. So I don't know what's gonna happen to him after this, but we will see what happens. Melissa Santos interviewed RVD as pretty much he praised Moose for calling him out and everything. Other than someone smashed with the writers backstage or something. I don't know what he meant by that, but RVD said Moose is old school and he thinks that's cool. He said pretty much told Moose. He said, Moose, you made the match happen and everything, and you probably got a great future and stuff, but you're facing the whole effing show and the consequences to your actions. So he plans to live it out to the, plans to live it up to the moniker of being Mr. Pay-Per-View. They did a video package then, of course, with RVD and Moose. Cool. I like how everything is kind of black when the music plays, and then he gets the spotlight when I'm coming down to the ring. RVD comes out to his music, which I still enjoy. I don't know why everybody hates it, but I think it's the most funniest and simple words to a song, and it's great to me, so I do not care. But this was a good match. I will say that. People really question RVD if RVD could still move around like he usually does before coming back to Impact. But I thought Van Dam did great out here with Moose. And of course, RVD was super over, of course, because it's RVD doing his signature spots like the Rolling Thunder and doing that flip dive off the rope, which people chanted his name in after that. But Moose came back and pretty much hit a powerbomb on him to the floor. RVD counted to Hurricane Rana. RVD pretty much took down Moose in the ring at one point, hit a split leg at moonsault. Moose kicked out again as RVD tried to pose. He tried to go back for the top, go for the frog splash, but Moose pretty much able to go to L from the top rope then. They started punching, kicking each other. Moose pretty much hit RVD with a DDT. Then after that, he tried to do his own five-star frog splash, but RVD ended up dodging the his frog splash after that. RVD pretty much did another DDT. Moose pretty much pulled the referee from RVD, which he pushed the referee out of the way that Moose low blowed RVD, and then after that he pretty much had a chair from under the ring. The referee pretty much stopped Moose from trying to get the chair, but RVD ended up hitting a Van Daminator on him. I guess there's no disqualification, and covered Moose, which Moose put his foot on the bottom rope. RVD then went and pretty much dropped toe hold Moose onto the chair. He was about to hit a 5-star frog splash, but next thing you know, Moose pretty much moved out of the way. RVD crashed and burned onto the chair. Moose then pretty much hit a big spear on RVD for the win. Very surprising, I will say that Moose had beat RVD, but I will say at least RVD, one thing, he is here, but at least he is putting over, some young talent. He's putting over other talent. I will say that. So at the end of the day, RVD does bring a big star power back to Impact, but in this way, at least this makes Moose look like a more credible threat, really. I will say that they put on a good promo last Friday, and I didn't really expect Moose to win. I thought RVD was just gonna go over, but I guess they were like, all right, we got to build Moose up into something. So him being RVD, this was a very interesting decision, but at least, like I said, RVD put over someone else. I will say that. But they had a really good match out there, and I thought it was very enjoyable. I just actually thought RVD was just going to win just because it's RVD, okay? It's Van Dam out there, and I thought he did great in that match, okay? So, very surprising win for Moose. They then went to the Fatal 4-Way Monsters Ball match for the Knockout Championship. Melissa Santos interviewed Taya before the match, and pretty much pretty much said that she lost Sansal's wedding invitation in the mail, and Taya cut her off, pretty much saying that she's gonna be keeping her, or she talked about she was gonna win this Monsters Ball and then keep the Knockouts Championship. This was a brutal match. This is probably one of the best matches of the night. This is very different to see another at least this is a different Monsters Ball match without Moose this time. James Mitchell's in the ring hyping up the Monster Ball, saying this is the most dangerous match in pro wrestling. As he was at ringside, pretty much all the women came out. Who had a trash can? No, there was a trash can at the ring, but as everyone got in, all the women started going at each other. Taya at one point got a staple gun and started stapling Su Yung in the back a couple times. It even stapled a picture of herself to Su Young's head as she started shaking. She pretty much shoved the paper in Su Young's mouth, but pretty much after that, Rosemary knocked her down. Then Su Yung got that demon collar and put it on Rosemary for some reason, on herself. For some odd reason, Taya had a ladder in the match. Started pretty much hitting everyone with it. Havoc got the ladder, knocked everyone down. Then at one point, they threw Havoc onto the ladder, and pretty much Rosemary and Su Yung were on the top rope. Taya was right there. Taya was right there too, almost kind of like doing a German suplex from the top rope. It was pretty much a big Tower Doom spot, which this was a very hard ladder, it looked like, by the way. Havoc had got out of the way, but they did that Tower Doom spot, which you could see Young and Rosemary land on top of it. Very brutal right there. Rosemary got the thumbtacks at one point. Tried to throw Taya into it. Taya did a German suplex on Rosemary. Didn't get onto the tacks, but she ended up pulling Rosemary's arms back onto the ground, stomping her face into the thumbtacks. Then after that, Havoc and knocked Taya down. Then Su Yung and Havoc start arguing with each other at one point, and still she sprayed the mist at Havoc, but it hit James Mitchell to knock him down. Havoc had grabbed Su Yung, then pretty much tried to hit a choke slam on her. Su Yung at the that bloody glove mandible claw thing and started putting her mouth into it. Pretty much Havoc had shoved her back then at that point, which somehow a table had got involved then, because both women were on the ground. Rosemary and Taya fought in the apron. Then at one point, I'm thinking Havoc started to crash both of them through the table and stuff. But as Rosemary and Taya fought on the apron, Taya ended up pretty much leaping, pretty much grabbing Rosemary's head, almost like a bulldog. It looked like. Pretty much her and Rosemary went through the table then. And as the thumbtacks were still in the ring, Su Yung and Havoc were on the top rope. I don't know what Su Yung was about to go for, but Havoc hit a crazy looking tombstone power driver from the middle rope onto Su Young's head on the thumbtacks, which just looked freaking brutal. You could just see her legs shaking at one point. Tied into a chair at Havoc's face. Then after that, pinned Su Yung, still retained the Knockouts Championship. So this was an insane insane Monsters Ball match. Crazy freaking spots from the thumbtacks, the staple guns, the chair shots being thrown at people's heads, table spots, all that. Even ladders at one point. So a very enjoyable match. I didn't really think Taya was gonna lose her match, since she just kind of somewhat got involved in this whole undead realm, or wherever you want to go with the whole Su Yung, Rosemary, and Havoc thing with all the dark stuff going on. So Taya still was able to make it out of there with her Knockouts Championship. But the crowd enjoyed it. There was a lot of holy shit chants. People really did like this match out there, judging by the crowd. So this was good. I will say that this was very, very good. We then went next for the X Division Championship. On the line is Rich Swan was being interviewed backstage, talking about that, Impact's one of the greatest wrestlers in the company right now. He's being fired up about Slammiversary, but Impact and Johnny Bravo interrupting him, saying, he's gonna take the title back to Slam Town, and it's gonna, be all night long. But Swan said, he's gonna retain the title and kick Johnny Impact's head off his shoulders. This was probably one of the best matches of the night between Swan and Impact. This was great. I will say that. A lot of crazy spots in this match. From the smash fly on the ropes, kind of in the beginning of the match. Swan was able to get out there. at one point. Like, where did I begin? There was just so many insane spots. It was just crazy. One thing I liked was Impact hit like a knee to Swan's head, and then doing like the Johnny's Edge at one point. They call it almost like a Razor's Edge, but he kind of like flips it back into almost like a, I don't want to say it was like a black hole slam or anything, but it's like he does the Razor's Edge and then just kind of flips him, around. I was thought Swan like dodged it hitting the DDT, but it wasn't. But I dropped something. But I thought he was gonna hit him like a DDT or something. But it didn't happen. Impact tried to do another springboard, almost like a spear. I thought he was going for the flying chuck, but Swan hit him with a big uppercut in midair, which was pretty cool. They ended up fighting from the outside at one point. Bravo tried to come in and attack Swan several times, but Swan, had got back in from the, at the 9 count. Impacted a Spanish fly from the ropes, which was pretty crazy from the top. But Swan came back. He had a standing Spanish fly himself. He even did like this. I thought it was cool. Like, he did like this backflip corkscrew in the middle of the ring, which was kind of crazy. Excuse me. Swan pretty much then ended up hitting a suicide dive on Johnny Bravo to knock him down. He pretty much came back and tried to do a lethal injection, but pretty much Johnny Impact came back, flying chuck, Starship Pain. Swan still kicked out of it. And Impact pretty much started. He had a knee to Swan's head, but Swan came back with like several strikes. Then he had one lethal injection. Then he did a second lethal injection. He did a Phoenix Splash for the pretty much for the ending of this match. Clean pin. Very great match between both of these guys. The crowd was with it. There was a lot of both these guys' chants, and this was great. And they were really getting this match over. I will say that, the announcers, but Swan, it just, like I said, man, Swan just been killing it lately in the main event scene. And he's really proved that, I think he's held this X Division title for almost like 7 months now, since January. It's that who else in the X Division is really facing Rich Swan right now? He's been so involved in the main event scene. He hasn't really faced anyone else in the X Division scene, but him and Johnny Impact put on a great match. That's one match I will go back and recommend watching. But then right after that was the World Heavyweight Championship on the line, which I questioned, why wasn't this the main event? And I was talking to my friend on Snapchat about it. He said that it was almost like the Moxley and Janela thing, talking about that fans aren't really gonna like this match, kind of like they didn't like the Moxley and everybody's got the cup of tea and they're not gonna like the intergender. Some people say that's why they put it in the main event, so everybody would be able to stay from the end of it. I only agree with that statement in some ways, because he was pretty much gone after that, and I don't know why he left. He didn't really see the whole show. I guess he had something important to do. I don't know, probably go back and work on the album, or I don't know, get pussy or some shit. I don't know, but pretty much I wasn't really sure about this, because I was very surprised the world title was not in the main event. I know Cage has been gone for a minute and they've done what they could to hype up the main event, but I expect that, because I just wondered, like, so we're going to put the intergender match in the main event of the show, but you're not going to put the world title in the main event, which has had the most build. My problem with the whole intergender, the whole Callihan and Callihan and Tessa Blanchard being the main event, is that it just feels so random, because it just got at one point, a few weeks ago, that they had Sami Callihan somehow fighting women and fighting Tessa Blanchard, and then it's like, I felt that the match wasn't that big enough of an angle to be the main event, because I said, why is this the main event? Excuse me, why is this the main event the last second? It wasn't even mentioned on TV. I know it was going to be a match at Slammiversary, but the fact that they just kind of announced it on the same night, like, hey, it's the main event now, which is very head-scratching, and I did not understand why they did not put the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. But this was a great match, though, between both Elgin and Cage, two big hoss guys beating the crap out of each other, which was just a lot of crazy spots, from the big suplex Elgin did on Cage, because he kept talking about his back injury. Elgin tried to do like a twist and senton from the top rope. Cage got out of there. Elgin came back with a backbreaker, but Cage pretty much hit a kick on him then after that. Cage did like a springboard tornado DDT and then a 619. He had a pump handle slam on Elgin, which was a 2 count. pretty much then after that, Elgin pretty much picked up Cage, which I thought was kind of crazy with a big power bomb Elgin did on him. Cage pretty much came back and hit him with some strikes. Elgin pretty much, he knocked him down for a clothesline, and he took his elbow pad off and pretty much start knocking Cage around in after that. Elgin hit a sit-down power bomb on him. Once again, another kick out from Cage. They say he was a franchise of Impact. Elgin pretty much wanted to say it was over, and then after that, he pretty much did a buckle bomb, but Cage got out of it and hit him with a discus. Then pretty much both guys were up, hitting each other with clotheslines, trying to knock the other one down. One thing that was crazy was when Cage had he did like a power bomb. No, he did like a power bomb. He was about to go for like that F5, but Elgin dodged it and hit him with a freaking Canadian destroyer that just looked insane. I will say that was pretty crazy. But once again, Elgin tried to go back for another power bomb. Cage got out of there, did a buckle bomb on him. He hit the drill claw, but Elgin, like I said, he dodged it in after that, and I think he hit like another sunset bomb or Canadian destroyer or whatever. Cage came back, he hit a power bomb on him. He got another drill claw. Once again, another kick out by Elgin. Fans chanted "Fight Forever." And then after that, Cage pretty much got it first, and he wanted to end this. He went for his finisher, but Elgin got out of it, and he pretty much hit a big forearm to Cage's head. He started punching him a couple times, and he did a spinning back fist. He went for another power bomb. He had a buckle bomb, and then he's about to go for the Elgin bomb, but Cage pretty much rolled him up and got a 3 count. So I was actually surprised it was like a roll up count right here. That's what surprised me. So I guess they wanted to protect Elgin just because it was kind of a screwy finish. And Cage didn't win clean, but he almost didn't win decisively. Because pretty much then right after that, Elgin was surprised. He attacked Cage with the title in. Fans chanting "You suck." He went to Don Callis. As Don Callis, pretty much says it's over. Okay, you lost. All right, but Elgin, Callis put his hands on him because he trying to go to back. Fans kept chanting "You fucked up" at Don Callis. Elgin pretty much was about to set up a power bomb until some guy got in the ring with a mask, and he gored Michael Elgin, which you all know who this is, I'm sure, who has recently left WWE, so we know he's in Impact right now, because he left and jumped over the barricade after he did a gore after that, which anyone could tell that was Rhino because of his gear. You could see his hair in the mask, and just how he did it, I was like, that's Rhino, isn't it? So I guess Rhino is back in Impact, and he's going against Elgin now. So this masked man or whatever pretty much got out of there after attacking Elgin. So I gotta say, it's almost like you could even see Rhino. You knew it was him. He wasn't even covered enough, okay? And the fans chanted "Gore," okay? So I don't know what type of mystery they were trying to put this up, but you could have covered him a little bit better. I will say that, because this was easy to tell it was Rhino. It really was. But overall, I still like this match with Elgin and Cage. Really good. Nothing really screwy about this match. I enjoyed it. It was really good. I didn't really expect the finish to go out like that, but I think the Cage and Elgin thing may continue. But since I guess this whole mystery man is involved now, which I'm sure everyone knows it's Rhino and everything, we will see where this goes from here. I guess I'll say that. So I don't know what to expect, but I just you could tell it was Rhino, but this was a good match though. But after that, they also announced for Bound for Glory, where it's going to be held this year, and it'll be held in my neck of the woods on October 20th in Chicago, Illinois. I do not know where it will be in Chicago, or when it will. I don't know where it will be, or how much the tickets cost. That'll be announced at a later date, but if they are near where I live, then I may go to that show, since it's coming over here. So you don't really get a lot of impacts in Chicago. And the main city's Impact is picking nowadays, but the fact they're coming over here to the Chi, I got no problem with that, and I may go to Mount for Glory if that's the case. But we got into the main event, Tessa Blanchard versus Sami Callihan, and an intergender match. Like I said, this match ain't gonna be everyone's cup of tea. when it comes to intergender matches. I just didn't think it needed to be the main event because I didn't understand why it was the main event in general, okay? I just thought it was kind of random that they said, oh, it's the first ever intergender match in America. We're going to do it tonight. You could have hyped this ahead or made the angle bigger than announced at the last second. I just didn't understand why they went for this, but this wasn't that bad, though. Let me say this. This match did not suck. Both of them are very great workers, both Callihan and Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard has been in these intergender matches, if I'm not mistaken, before. Did she win a match against Cage at one point I saw on the internet? Like I said, I know people are not going to like what goes on here, but pretty much both of them brought baseball bats out. Fans chanted, Tessa's going to kill you. Right out the gate, both of them started brawling. Like I said, right out the gate, both of them just started brawling at one point. Pretty much Blanchard did like 2 suicide dives on him on the outside. Callihan caught her at the last second, pretty much grabbing her. I like to go for a power bomb, but he pretty much threw her into the barricade a couple times and then hit a big Death Valley driver out to the floor. Pretty much threw her back into the ring. Then after that, he did a power bomb then, and pretty much stood on the ropes then. Pretty much as the referee counted, Blanchard pretty much got back in the ring after that. Excuse me. Tessa hit a big neck break on him, which is pretty cool. Pretty much went on the ropes. Hit Callihan with a big boot, which was pretty big. Callihan pretty much, he threw Tessa on the outside. Was gonna power bomb off the stage, but tell the fans to move. But Tessa got out of there. Pretty much hit him with a big cutter after that. Callihan pretty much got back in. They were back in the ring. Callihan pretty much told Blanchard to hit him again, like hit him because she kept hitting him, and then he was like, "Is that all you got, bitch?" And pretty much gave her the middle finger. Pretty much Blanchard pretty much came in, hit a big Samoan drop on Sami Callihan after that. Blanchard pretty much went charging at him then, and hit it with a big DDT, and then was trying to get the hammerlock DDT, but Callihan broke out of it after that, and pretty much Callihan pretty much ended up powerbombing Blanchard and hit a STF. Blanchard got it to the ropes then after that, but Callihan pretty much tried to do something else. Tessa slipped out of it. Pretty much tried to hit a cover on him. And next thing you know, she accidentally backfisted the referee. So ref bump. Sami Callihan got his baseball back. Knocked Tessa in pretty much in the face then after that. Another referee came out. 2 count then. She kicked out of a baseball bat shot to the face. It's kind of hilarious in some type of way. But Callihan pretty much attacked the second referee. Pretty much started yelling at Tessa. Tessa low blowed him then after that. Pretty much got the baseball bat and said, I guess he said like, called like, you done it now, motherfucker, or some shit like she said. You can hear her say it. I'm just trying to see what she said, like, you fucked up now or something to Callihan, as she had her old baseball bat and hit him with the baseball bat. Then she pretty much did the Magnum, the code breaking thing from the top rope, and then hit Callihan with a cross face. Callihan looked like he was about to tap, but Callihan got out of there and hit a big tombstone pile driver, which was a tombstone pile driver, but almost like a dude buster or whatever pile driver, which Tessa still kicked out of it. And then Callihan pretty much told Tessa to get up. He did his thumbs up, thumbs down thing, did the pile driver, won the match, but as Tessa held her neck. Then after that, Callihan had both the baseball bats, which this was kind of crazy. He showed a sign of respect, giving her baseball back, the golden one and stuff, as it was like a sign of respect pretty much from that point in time. And that's what closed out the show. So this was a good main event, I will say that. Like I said before, everyone's not gonna like intergender matches, okay? They're not. I know this as from people as a fact. And like someone told me earlier that they probably did this in the main event so people wouldn't leave because it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I didn't think it needed to be in the main event because I didn't think this was big enough of an angle. I think this was announced the last second. And I didn't feel like this match was going to be like the main event of this pay-per-view because it wasn't really hyped up. This was announced at the last minute during the show. Don't get me wrong, they hyped it up the whole night, but I just thought it was strange that, wait, this is really going to main event over the World Heavyweight Championship? That's what was very odd to me. So, I didn't hate the match. I just didn't think it really needed to be the main event. This just felt very last minute. But I think both Callihan and Tessa put on a very good match out there. And the crowd was with it. I'll say one thing. The crowd loved it. They loved what was going on. They loved the match. They thought it was insane. They thought it was big. So, I can't really, say nothing that bad about it. So, if the crowd enjoyed it, they loved it. So, I'll say it was a good main event to end off the show. Overall, Slammiversary was a very good pay-per-view. Was it really anything bigger as of usual? Do I think it was better than last year's Slammiversary? In a way, yes, but I don't think so. I don't think it's really top the Pentagon and Callihan match or the Austin Aries and Moose match from last year. I think last year, because Impact had such a big resurgence and, everybody was taking them seriously again, that's what made it a very big... Some people called Slammiversary last year the pay-per-view of the year. So, there's a lot to say from that. But, this year's Slammiversary, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed a lot of matches. The most matches I did enjoy was the Monsters Ball match, the X Division title, and the match with Elgin and Cage for the World Championship. I thought the Rhino thing was kind of odd and very obvious because they didn't really hide him that much to be a masked man, and come on, the fans really knew out the back. And I will say I did enjoy the Tessa and Callihan match. I'm surprised Sammy Callihan finally got a big win for once, because every time he's in these big feuds, he always ends up losing in the end. So at least he got a win from this, and he showed respect to Tessa. So I guess the feud is over after this. I'm not really sure, but we'll see what happens after that. But overall, an enjoyable show. Slammiversary did really, really good tonight. This pay-per-view didn't that suck. One thing I just didn't really like, though, was just the whole tag team title thing going on, okay? I just didn't like that the tag team titles were changed at the last second, 2 days before pay-per-view, and then randomly it's a triple threat match. And now I don't know if Santana's really hurt in that. But overall, an enjoyable show. Excuse me, choking right there. But overall, a really good show. I recommend watching it if you get the chance. So, yeah, check it out. But overall, I will say it's been a long weekend of wrestling, if you ask me. Make sure you check out this review. Check out my G1 Climax review that was, uploaded from last night. Like I said, it's been a long weekend of shows, if you ask me. I already reviewed the UFC, but I still saw it in general. But like I said, check out my Slammiversary review. Check out my G1 Climax Night 1 review from Dallas, Texas last night. Like I said, a lot of wrestling going on this weekend. But I'm out here. Comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. I'm out here. See you guys later. Peace. And I'm out. That's Slammiversary for you. Slammiversary, was it 17 and 19? 17. Yeah, I believe it's a 17 marriage. It's Slammiversary. But I'm out here. See you guys later. Peace out.